Right, hello. Okay. Right, I'm just going to start off with. I can't get the light right in here. I saw something the other day. I mean, a couple of days ago, I was walking through town, and there's this beggar. You quite often see beggars in town, but this beggar, he's got this huge dog. You know, this like. It kind of like I'm just trying to get my head around these things. At the moment, doing the work, I'm trying not to judge people. Sometimes, sometimes it's quite hard, not to judge people. And so this guy's got a huge dog. I've known people. I've had friends that were beggars, and they had a dog, and some of them say that it helps, because other people that have got dogs or sympathetic dogs. They don't want to think that the dog is going to go hungry, so they tend to give you money, So having a dog with you when you're begging, it's like it's a way of twisting people's arm a bit, to make them give you money. And like most people are unscrupulous. Most people don't have a conscience. 90% of people don't have a conscience. That's not my opinion, by the way. That's according to research that's been done. Only 1 out of 10 people actually have a conscience. So 9 out of 10 people who are beggars, they would quite happily use a dog or even borrow someone else's dog. It might not have even been his dog. He might have just said to someone, "Oh, I'll take." Like people who do that job where they're like they get money for dog sitting or dog walking. Maybe you do a bit of dog walking, but you go and instead of going walking the dog for a nice long walk, you go and sit in the town with a little hat and just sit there for a couple of hours. You make yourself 30 or 40 quid, because people keep giving you money because they think that you need to sort of pay for your dog and that. Ah, dear. I just wouldn't have a dog anymore. I got to the point where I realised that, I'd have a dog if I had a herd of sheep. I'd have a sheepdog, Maybe if I had a farm, and livestock, I'd have a dog to protect it, But why would I need a dog? Why does anyone want a dog? It's because they're lonely. They want someone, and they're an animal. They don't feel human. So I know people don't want to hear this, but it's you 9 out of 10 people. It's the 9 out of 10 people that aren't really human. They haven't got a conscience. They don't, their idea of right and wrong has got nothing to do with what's really right and wrong. Oh dear. It'd be nice if they had a test, right? I'd like them to have a test. I mean, because I don't even know if I'm human or not. I've got lots of Neanderthal genes. I don't know if that makes me less human or more human. I don't know. Who knows? How do you define human? Why are we just not apes? Most of us are just apes with like retarded brains. Oh dear. Okay, some other stuff that I was going to get onto. Oh yeah, well, eating properly. So I've been I've been working on reducing my alcohol consumption, as you can tell. So I'm on a budget at the moment. I've used up all my resources at the moment, and I'm down to a very limited amount of money for the next month. because I've got loads of like stock. I've stocked up on loads of herbs and supplements and different types of foodstuffs. So technically, I've easily got enough food to last me for the next month without having to buy anything. This month, I decided to take a certain amount of money out of the bank, pay for my bills like electric and that, and because I went overdrawn last month, the last couple of months I went overdrawn, and I've been about a year without going overdrawn, you know, and so just in the last couple of months I've gone overdrawn. I don't want to go overdrawn. I really don't like it, so I've decided to go on a budget and make sure that I don't go overdrawn next month. So I took this certain amount of money out of the bank, paid off my bills, you know, the things that I need to pay off, and I was left with today, this morning, I had £33. I've got about another, let me just think, 24 days, 25 days, something like that, to go till I get my next paycheck. And I had £33. So I've spent £13 today, which really I should be, you know, about £1 a day. £1.15, £1.10 a day or something like that. So I spent £13 and I bought this bottle of wine. Right? Normally I only ever spend about £4 or £3 on a bottle of wine, £3.50. Hardly ever spend more than £4, £4.50. Occasionally I'll just as an experiment, I might buy something that costs maybe £6, £5.99, something like that. So I was looking in the shop for stuff like today, you know, because I'm budgeting, so I'm looking for bargains. So I saw this bottle of wine, £8.99. Right, I thought that's a bargain. I'm going to get that. So the thing is, right, it's counterintuitive. It's my counterintuitive bargaining logic. I want to cut down on alcohol. I usually spend at least £5 or £6 a day on alcohol, maybe more, you know, but you know, just normal for me to spend £6 a day. I've got a month to go. I've got 25 days to go. So right, I've got £33. The best thing to do is to buy a really good, expensive bottle of wine. You know, just get on with it. Counterintuitive logic. Just forge ahead. Go on as you mean to go on. Start as you mean to go on. So right, here you go. £8.99. Not 2015. Nice bottle of French wine. 90 points out of 100. I've never bought a bottle of wine for 90 points on it before. So it should be a really good bottle of wine. The other thing that really got me going with it is, look, can you see that? 15% alcohol by volume. Have you ever seen a bottle of wine 15%? No, I haven't. That's what I just thought. 15%. That is a good bottle of wine. It's got to be, hasn't it? That's got to be a good bottle of wine. See, the idea is that I'm going to stop drinking, right? I didn't drink much yesterday. I've got this like really good quality bottle of wine. Once I drank that, because I've gone off the beer, I've drunk loads of good quality beer over the last few years. So I've gone off beer now. I don't want to drink that. So when I've finished this bottle, there's nothing left for me to drink. You know, it's not going to be good enough for me. So I'm going to open it now. Aye. I think I've seen bottles of wine at 14.5% is about the strongest wine I've ever seen or tried. As far as I can tell, this is not a fortified wine. It's just a normal bottle of wine. I've never seen a bottle of wine 15%. That's the strongest wine I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. Oh, I know that smell. I know the grapes that. I mean, I've drunk that kind of wine before. It's similar sort of to Chateauneuf de Pape. Same kind of grape varieties. Yeah, there's a nice. I don't know if it says what grapes are in there, but it's probably about 3 or 4 different types of grape varieties in there. It's got a very good nose. You know, it's like even with I've got a good nose. I've got Neanderthal genes. My nose is exceptional. It's got a really good sense of smell. So I can smell a lot about that wine just from giving it a good sniff. So obviously I'm going to let it breathe. I'm going to stick on top of my computer there so to stay warm, and because it's quite cold here at the moment. I've got a few little bits of snacky things to eat with it. A bit of roast beef. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to have it with roast beef. Maybe someone can tell me if you know. There's nobody watching, so. Il accompagna. My French accent's terrible. I'll pronounce it with English like. Il accompagne parfaitement les volailles rôties et les daubes. Well, that's my best approximation of a French accent, anyway. And I'm imagining that it's roast beef and daubes potatoes. I don't know, roast potatoes. I've no idea. I'm just imagining it should be roast beef and roast potatoes, and I've got something nearly like that. So, and unless my translation's wrong, it could be something else entirely, like duck breast and. I don't know, dumplings. Who knows what it is? You know, I don't speak French. I can't bother to translate. Just excuse me. I'll be back in a second. So yeah, I've got some raw goat's milk. It's like I get this milk. It's unpasteurized. I don't know if you can see the unpasteurized bit there. Does it say unpasteurized? Oh yeah, this milk has not been heat treated and may therefore contain organisms harmful to health. So it doesn't actually say unpasteurized, but it hasn't been heat treated. So, you know, this has already been kefired. I've kefired this. It's quite a hassle, kefir in this milk. Takes a bit of a while, you know, but it will last a lot longer. Even though goat milk, unpasteurized goat milk, doesn't go off. It will keep for ages. You know, it goes sour, but you can still drink it. It doesn't go moldy. It just keeps really well. The whey will rise to the top, and it's like it just kills any germs. No germs will get in there. It's incredibly good. You know, it's like most of, I mean, people in America who are going to might listen to me, and people in the UK and that, we can't get. It's very difficult for us to get unpasteurized goat's milk. But actually, 2/3 of the world drink unpasteurized goat's milk regularly. 2/3. 2 out of 3 people drink it. Everywhere else in the world, in all the other poor countries, they drink this stuff all the time because it's so good for you. And it's totally different. I had some this morning when it was first turned into kefir, and I drank a big glass, like a half a pint, and it digests instantly. It just sort of disappears. You don't feel it sitting in your stomach at all. It just digests instantly. It's gone. And you just feel like good. You know, I've been eating really well lately. Yep. So I've decided I'm just to have. You know, when I'm quitting drinking, I thought the way to do it is to go out in style, get a really good quality bottle of wine. I don't drink a lot of red wine, you know, probably 20 or 30 bottles of a year, maybe, something like that. 2 or 3 bottles a month. Now, a good wine, often, it doesn't taste all that nice when you first take the first few sips. And this hasn't breathed, I haven't let this breathe properly yet, so I should give it a bit of time. But also, the first few sips tend to, you know, they're going to clash with your taste buds. You know, there's often too much going on. Your taste buds need to get a chance to, your palate needs to get a chance to get to grips with what you're drinking, and even out the tastes and tell it be. And I imagine from the nose, by the time I get halfway through it or towards the end, I will be really appreciating it. That's actually quite a good sign that the first sip tastes a bit icky. You know, it's not a pleasant taste. But what I'm doing now is just to run some hot water. So I'm going to put that wine in some warm water to warm up a little bit. It's a bit cooler than it should be. You could just use with warming up a very little bit. It's not too cold, but it just wants to be warmed up a little bit. Yes, I just put it in some water, about body temperature. In 5 or 10 minutes, it would have warmed the wine up a few degrees just to make it more the right sort of temperature, and it'll help it to breathe better. Yeah. A few more sips, and the complexities of the wine are starting to sort of come out a bit. I'm getting bramble flavors, like blackberry. bit of cut grass kind of flavour. Yeah, it's like that tart plum, not quite ripe plum that's like a little bit tart still, you know, not really sweet and juicy, but it's like a very sort of tart plummy sort ofness. Tea, like a tea sort of flavour, quite strong tea, lots of tannin. Yeah, I'll give it some time. I'll let it warm up over there. I'll see how it'll the more flavors will come out. Yeah, you can see there's a bit of vanilla in there as well in the background. It's sort of coming through. It's got a very long finish, so that's one of the things I read on the label. Although my French isn't perfect at all, I can tell when it says it's got a long finish. You know, it's pretty straightforward in French compared to English. Yeah, but you can see, I can see how it's going to be a really enjoyable wine, because I haven't got much money, so this, like an expensive bottle of wine like this, is a real treat for me. You know, for £9, you know, that's how much it costs to go to the cinema. I would quite happily rather buy a really expensive bottle. Well, for me, what is a really expensive bottle of wine, and instead of going to the cinema, you know, because this is just a real treat for my senses. Being a bit Neanderthal, having the sort of nose that I've got, you know, a really good nose. I mean, I should really like to get a job as a wine taster. That would be a really good job for me. With my Neanderthal genes, really good nose, taste buds and stuff. And apparently you can earn a lot of money. See, now it's starting to, it's coming through with this sweetness. The first taste of it was pretty horrible, but just after a few minutes of like just sipping it and letting it breathe a bit, yeah, the complexities are coming through, and I've just got a good feeling that it's going to be a really enjoyable bottle of wine. I've had expensive bottles of wine. This isn't the most expensive bottle of wine I've ever had. I have paid, I think, getting on for £20 for a bottle of wine, and really enjoyed it. I've had a few bottles of wine at around £10, just so that I get an idea of what they're like. Some like more expensive wines. I'm not going to spend more than £20 on a bottle of wine. I'm not that stupid, you know. But occasionally, if I get a night, you know, I just fancy it. I do like to try something like this occasionally, just like I would occasionally go to the cinema, maybe once every 6 or 10 years. I haven't spent more than about £6 on a bottle of wine for probably about 20 years. So this to me is like a big change, you know. And it's my counterintuitive budgeting logic, you know. I've got hardly any money, so buy an expensive bottle of wine. That's it. That's how you do it. And every little sip's getting nicer and nicer. That's what you want. You want to start off like it's like a map of the work. You start off like hard with hard work. It's difficult, and it gets easier and easier and easier, and you get better and better at it. I went in the sea the other day, was it about a week ago? Yeah, I went swimming in the sea. It's about 6 degrees. It's like going swimming in a fridge. It was really, really cold. It really hurt. It hurt me, you know. I was screaming nearly like a baby, like a little girl. But when I got out, I just stood in, and the sun was shining like it is today. I stood in the sun for 10 minutes and dried off in the wind and the sun, and it was great. There was a while I was drying off, right, there was a little kid about 10. He looked about 10 years old, and he ran in after me. Like, well, he didn't after me, but you know, while I was drying off, I've been drying off for 5 or 10 minutes in the sun, and then this kid stripped, and he ran in and went down up to his neck. I went under. I went all, you know, I dived under and swam around for a bit, not for very long, only about a minute or two. But you know, because it was so cold, it was just hurting me. So I got out, but at least I did it, you know. And then this little kid, come down, and he went down. He went up to his neck, like, and he got straight back out again. He wasn't in for as long as I was. And then I think it must have been his mum. She shouted over to us and said it was a £10 bet. You know, so his dad or his mum had bet him £10 that he wouldn't jump in the sea like I just did. I didn't even plan it. I just happened to be walking past, and I was with a friend, my friend Tristan, and he talked me into it. He said, "Go in," like, because I wasn't feeling that great. But when I went in there, had a little swim, come out, dried off in the sun. I didn't have any towel with me. You know, I was just in my underwear, so I had to pull my underwear off, and I used my top to dry off with, well, to dry my sort of hairy bits with. You know, put all my stuff back on. It was fine. I felt great afterwards, you know, and I have ever since. And I've been doing this pay de gym where you slap your different parts of your body, these joints and stuff. And before I went in, when I was slapping my hand here, it really hurt. I could only do that. I could only do it a couple of times. But after doing it, it's like, I don't know what organ this part of my body represents, but it's definitely got a lot stronger. And this one, you know, so it has profound effects. Jumping in the sea, or having a really cold shower, or a bath with chucking ice in. If you live somewhere like California, like or Florida, mind rape art, you probably don't get cold weather much unless you go up into the mountains and get under a waterfall of like a glacier melt or something, snow melt. Maybe then you can get some cold therapy. But otherwise, if you live in somewhere like a warm country and it doesn't get really cold, you'd have to put ice in a bath or something like that. Or, you know, yeah. But it's great. It's really good. Combine it with other things like high intensity interval training. Okay, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, I'm going to eat some food now. I'm going to just drink this wine. I mean, this is just going to be a bit of a boring, tedious kind of live chat. I'm just going to be sitting here, drinking and eating, and I'm going to have a smoke as well. Oh, that's the point. Yeah, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to give you some updates about my smoking mixture I've got. Because you know, when I for the last few years while I've been doing the work, I've been buying lots of supplements, and because I'm on benefits, so I haven't got a lot of money. I go and collect cigarette ends and joint ends from the street to get my cannabis, because I used to spend a lot of money on cannabis, like something typically 25 or 30 pound a week, and that's cut right down now to almost nothing. Or I would actually go. I went 3 years without buying any. Because it's very expensive here in the UK. But I've got this little bit of something. I'm pretty sure by the smell of it that it's a sativa strain. And my belladonna's just come through. So I've got belladonna datura. I've only got a tiny bit of datura left. I've nearly smoked it all. But I should have enough now to make a little single skinner of sativa strain. Hopefully it's sativa strain. And some belladonna and datura mixture, and I'm just like a savoury sort of sprinkling on top. and this should give me like a different kind of vibe. So I'm going to smoke some and see if it makes any difference. I'll just be a minute just making it here. Oh dear. It come through a few days ago, and actually a friend of mine had come round, and he had some sativa with him. He just happened to have some, and I just got my belladonna through, but it was a really good deal. I mean, I don't suppose many people buy it or know what to use it for, but like it's got like a warning on the top there, warning in red, you know. Belladonna leaf cut, organic, loose dried herb, Atropa belladonna. It was really cheap, 100 grams. It was like £3.50 or something. It was like really cheap, you know. It's in date for 1.5 years. So to me, that is as good as an ounce of cannabis, as far as I'm concerned. It's like for £3.50. It's like normally an ounce of cannabis is going to cost you like £200. So it's like that's how good that is to me. That's how much I think it's worth it. But I'm not recommending it. You know, I'll show you how to use it. Ah, right. How does this work then? Right. So basically, I'm just using a tobacco as a base to sort of. That's interesting. I was on eBay the other day looking at buying some Datura because I ordered some more because I've run out, basically, virtually run out. And I kept seeing like loads of cannabis there. You know, I was looking for Datura, but it kept coming up cannabis. So, and all these like pictures of buds of cannabis. And I thought, that's a bit odd. So I clicked on them to have a look at them, read the description and that. And went through, had a look at a few different ones, and they were, well, some of them, there was one in particular that caught my eye. It was £13.99 for 1 gram of this certain type of cannabis, and it said it was 13. It had 13% written by it. Now I thought, well, 13% what? THC? £13.99 seems like a lot of money, but all the all the ratings were really high. It had really high ratings, so everybody seems to like it. I think it's a good deal. And when it comes to Datura and belladonna, that's how much I'm using. Like a little tiny pinch, you know, like a tiny little pinch, just hardly anything. I didn't even use all of that. I used only about half of that pinch, you know. I use it like salt and pepper, you know, just like. If you think of the weed, this weed, right? There's this sativa weed on eBay, £6. It was about £6, £6.50 for 25 grams, right? One of them that I saw. So I thought, right, I should get that. It's got to be worth a try, hasn't it? Anyway, so I don't know if it's got any THC in it. The other one I saw for £13.99. It was 1 gram, and it said 13%. I'm thinking, we normally the prices here for 1 gram of proper cannabis, which is against the law apparently, is about £10 on the street. So £13.99, £14 for 1 gram. You'd think that must be good quality cannabis. But then they shouldn't be selling it on eBay. But you know, I don't know. I wasn't going to buy that one though. I just thought no, I wouldn't buy that. But the sativa for £6 for 25 grams, even if it doesn't got vitamin C in it, it's probably still worth it just for making tea or because of all the other CBD and stuff in it, which it is legal. So yeah, so it's interesting what you can how eBay has been like changing and what the cannabis laws are. I don't know, and what they're selling and what people can get away with selling. So anyway, this is what I'm hoping and imagining is some kind of sativa strain, and it's got. I put a little tiny bit of. Oh, did I put the datura in? I think I did. Yeah, I put a bit of datura and a bit of belladonna in here. This really only works with the sativa strain, and as I say, you can get a sativa strain in the UK. Very cheap, £6 for 25 grams. It's enough to last you a long time, you know. And the belladonna from Bulgaria, that was like £3 for 100 grams. I'm thinking of, I bought some seeds for some datura, so I'm thinking of growing my own because I'd rather grow it myself rather than pay. But even then, it's still, the last bit I got was £14 for 50 grams. So if you combined all them together, it's about £21, £22, and you end up with like quite a substantial amount of stuff that you can smoke. So what I think with the belladonna, I'm just trying it here. The belladonna, because it's deadly nightshade, it's a very poisonous plant, but using a very, very tiny amount, what happens is that your body recognizes the chemicals and it says, oh, this is dangerous, you might die. And so it alerts your body, it puts your body on alert, like a red alert, you know. It's like a fire drill. It's like your body having its own fire drill. Put the fire drill, everybody rushes around, starts getting all panicky for a few minutes. They realize there's not a fire, it's no big deal, so we calm down. But it's like your internal body has got an exercise, you know, so you feel more alert, you feel more awake, you know, you're more aware of what's going on. It's a similar thing with the datura. It's a delirium. Instead of getting delirious, your body is saying it's an alert, you know, there's something strange going on here, and you start getting more focused and you can think more clearly and you're more aware. And with the cannabis sativa, that also is very good for the brain, you know, and to keep your brain working efficiently and things like that. So yeah, you know, I sort of notice a little bit of paranoia straight away. I can sort of feel this. That'll be from the belladonna. You know, it's like I'm going to die. But I have smoked it before. You know, I smoked it like about 25 years ago. I mean, 20 years ago, about just over 20 years ago. Yeah, 22, 23 years ago, I had it. And I got some quite profound effects, but I'm not expecting such profound effects from it now. I know what to expect from it. I've got my diet a lot more sorted out, so I've got proper I'm getting proper nutrition now, so the reaction should be a bit more relaxed. It seems like a nice smoke. So yeah, basically you can, even in the UK, if you use that sativa strain that's on eBay for £6 for 25 grams, it's got lots of CBD in it, and some belladonna and datura. If you can't get them online, you can just get the seeds. You can grow it your own in a garden, or you can do some sort of anarchist seed sowing. You know, sow some seeds in some gardens and some bit of wasteland. And just go and collect a few of the leaves, you know. So for very little money, you could get a smoke like this together. Also, what I noticed before when I had it, the effects were not instant. I'm noticing something. I spoke to it with my friend the other day, and he said that he felt his left and right brain working in like in harmony. One of the things I've noticed with it is yeah, it's kind of like like a herbal nootropic. It's like a herbal nootropic mixture, a synergistic mixture where you're just putting a few things together, and it's having a nootropic effect. So it makes your brain work more efficiently. Your body work more efficiently. You just want to get down to business. You just want to sort things out. You know, it's not like an indica strain where you just want to go to sleep. It's more like you just want to get things done. You want to go and do something. I feel like doing something now. You know, I want to, like a bit like modafinil. When I've had modafinil, I just want to get up and do stuff. You know, and I feel really together. The assassins used to use it. It's where the word assassin come from. Hassan Sibar, this guy he used to live in Afghanistan. This was his favorite smoking mixture. He'd use a sativa strain of cannabis, a little tiny bit of belladonna, and a little tiny bit of datura, stramonium, and he'd give it to his assassins to smoke, and then they'd go off and kill his enemies. So it really refines your sensory perception and help you to think more clearly, be more subtle. It's a very subtle smoke, but it's powerful, and you can really notice it. Well, I can anyway, and so could my friend. It's like, it feels like a cheat. It's like you suddenly just feel so much. I feel like much more together than I usually am. You know. It's like a biohack, organic biohack. Yeah. Well, I'm not going to smoke it all at once. I think I'm just going to put that aside for a minute. The other thing is I've tried it because I got it. When did I get it? On Saturday. Was it today? Monday. So I got it 2 days ago. I just experimented a few times with it. It seems really cool. You know, I just feel really together. I mean, you can't. You obviously you can't see that I feel together, but I just do feel together. You know. Yeah, as I said, I'm just going to let this run for a bit. This one. You know, if people don't want to watch a great long video, that's fine. I don't mind. I'm doing it for myself, really, just to get the stuff down. And I want to remember what I look like when I'm drinking this wine. Yeah, it's like the flavors are coming through a bit more now. It's like berries. Like sharp fruit. It's nice because sometimes wine, the wine can be like cheap wine. Can be, the flavors are very sort of basic and predictable, and it's nice to get something a bit more complex. Some people wouldn't like it probably if your palate's not used to these sort of things. You might not like it. You might think it's not got a nice flavor, but I can imagine it going really well with barbecue meat. You know, like slightly burnt meat, like with a bit of charcoal and smoky flavor. You know, it would be lovely with that. You know, really nice. That might even be what that French words are. It might have said barbecue. You know. Anyway, I'll show you what I'm going to eat with it. Oh dear. So you know, being a single person living on my own and trying to eat properly, you have to sort of like cut corners when you're eating, right? So this here, I've got some like roast beef slices that were on offer today because they needed, you know, they were like near their end of their sell by date, so they were a lot cheaper than they normally are. And then some here, I've got some stuff I cooked up earlier with like basically it's just bacon, cubes of potato, organic potato, some leeks, and a few spices, things like a bit of mustard, salt and pepper, a bit of chili sauce, only a very little bit of chili sauce, a few herbs, you know, some sage and what's the other one? Oregano, and a bit of nutmeg, I think, and olive oil and butter, and then I put a bit of pear cider in there to reduce down and sort of give it a bit of extra flavour and sweetness, and a bit of apple cider vinegar, and a little bit of maple syrup. It's gone cold now because I had it earlier, but it's really good. So it was one thing when it was hot. Now it's cold. It tastes really good, actually. It's really nice. It's like a really nice sort of potato salad, but with bacon in it. So this is like this is going to be my last meal of alcohol, in theory, for the next month. So that's why I bought this bottle of wine. Hello, viewers. I see I've got a few more viewers. So I'm drinking this bottle of wine that costs £9. I normally only spend £4 or £3 on a bottle of wine, but you know, this is the most expensive bottle of wine I've bought in about 20 years. Because it's my last day. It's my counterintuitive budgeting day, and I've got £20 left to last me for the next month. Yeah. Well, the wine, it seems like a good choice. The wine is going really well with the rest of that food. It's seamless, you know. It seems like a really good choice. I'll see how it goes with the beef. My friend Tristan, he was like, he's been vegetarian. Well, not quite vegetarian. He eats fish, but apart from that, he hasn't eaten meat for like years, a couple of years. And I was talking to him about all the benefits of eating meat. So I talked him into eating meat. He come round a week or so ago, and I made a turkey curry with turkey thigh, and he had a huge, great big portion of it with cauliflower rice, and he said he really enjoyed it, you know. And he come around a couple of days ago when we experimented with the datura and belladonna, and I got him to eat a big load of beef liver. We had liver and bacon. It was great, you know, liver and bacon with onions and carrots and stuff. Oh, and I put beef stock in there, some really expensive beef stock, and chaga extract to make it dark. It was really good. It really went down really well. I weren't drinking alcohol at the time. That was the day I went and jumped in the sea as well. Yeah, it's pretty good. I can imagine the Pope eating food like this. And it's good. It's good for me. It's great food to have on as a budget food, because I mean it is really cheap. I really like that liver the other day. Liver's so cheap here, like beef liver. Like me and my friend Tristan, we had a beef liver between us, a huge, great big portion each with like carrots and onions, and it was like 85 pence for the beef liver, and there was loads of it. It's incredibly cheap. We're having difficulty in Britain at the moment, where our pound is really weak. You know, all the shops are starting to get a bit empty of certain things that come from abroad. The prices are going up, you know, for foreign stuff. Yeah, I'm just enjoying this food. This is, you know, I didn't really make this video to get lots of watchers, but I did it for other reasons. I'm dragging it out. Well, I'm not dragging it out on purpose, but it's just that one of the points of this video is that I'm going to be drinking this wine and eating and just relaxing, really. I don't know why the chat isn't on. Maybe I can put it on. Fucking, I wish it's not even at all straightforward. I don't know why. Oh, there it is. Right. It's on now anyway, the chat. So if anyone wants to chat, give me some ideas. Anyone wants to talk about something that you can give me ideas in the chat. I don't even know how you're supposed to turn it on. Usually it just comes on by itself. What? You won't let me say anything? Oh, okay. And the HRC, I don't know what it is about you. You always have trouble. You're always causing trouble. Okay, I'm watching you. I'm seeing what you're saying, but I tried writing a comment, an answer on the live chat. It won't let me say anything now. Now you've come on. You're causing all kinds of trouble. But don't go away. I'm quite happy for you to stay. But since you've come on, I can't leave a comment. But it doesn't really matter because I can talk to you anyway. So lesbians, right? That's a good subject. Okay. About 20 years ago. This is funny. Well, I think it's funny. About 20 years ago, let me just think. Yeah, it was getting on for 20 years ago now. Yeah, pretty much 20 years ago. Well, at least a turn of the dragon's head. 19 years of the lunar nodes. 19 years ago. Yeah, apparently I'm not allowed to chat with you. It doesn't surprise me. The people on Google Plus and YouTube, they're very conservative, So anyway, 19 years ago, what happened? My friend Tristan, who was on video here on live chat a few months ago, he went off with my girlfriend, right? And it just sort of like they went off together. They didn't tell me, they just went off together, and it's like I was really gutted. Well, not that gutted, but at least I pretended I was gutted for a while. I sent Tristan a letter. I said to him that Eve, that was my girlfriend, Eve. She was worth at least 300 because I owed Tristan £60 at the time, you see. And he come round asking for that £60 after he'd gone off with my girlfriend, right? And I sent him a letter saying that Eve was worth at least £300 to me, right? It still makes me laugh now. I think how much how much is a donkey worth? You know, you got to imagine this is like 20 years ago, so £300 was about a reasonable price for a fairly good donkey. You know. Anyway, so I didn't give him the £60 that I owed him. I thought, if you're going to take my girlfriend that's worth £300, you know, I ain't going to give you that £60. You know, at the worst, we're even. You know. So anyway, getting back to lesbians, I sort of, when he come round and he started banging on my window saying that if he thought I was trying to say that he owed me £300. You know, he got the wrong end of the stick entirely. I was quite happy to get rid of her, really. You know, that's why I'm still friends with the guy. And he come round and he was banging on my door and saying, "I don't owe you £300." And like, I was laughing. I was just like, I was trying to sort of not laugh too loud because I didn't want him to hear me laughing, like, but I was laughing. So it was my way of dealing with it, right? But then these two women moved in a few doors up the road. They just moved in. I saw them moving their furniture on. You know, this was all in more or less a few weeks, just after it happened. You know, while it was all still fresh in my mind and that, and they were like, they weren't really. Well, they were quite beautiful, really. At least one of them was, and anyway, a couple of weeks passed, and I went up and knocked on their door and said, "Hi, you know, I just live down the road. I'm your neighbour." And I started talking to him, you know, and like, but nothing ever happened. You know, I probably wasn't forceful enough, maybe, or I didn't just push hard enough. Anyway, you know, I was infatuated with him. I kept dreaming about him. That's what it was. I kept dreaming about him, even when I was awake. Now, these things happen, don't they, sometimes? They were a bit middle class, you see. I'm a bit working class. They're a bit middle class. You know, they had cars, and one of them worked as an editor or something, you know, and the other one was like quite high up in the sort of UN police force. Going to Kosovo and stuff, you know, when all that war stuff was going on. Used to give lectures and stuff, that kind of sort of person. They were like quite high, you know, middle class. And I'm just this lower class. But I used to get cannabis for them and stuff, you know, and I went around there and had a few meals, and, you know, we had a bit of fun, but nothing ever happened. I never got to have sex with them at all. But I'm still kind of infatuated with one of them. It's like lesbians, they get their claws into you in like on the astral plane if you're not careful. There's a film, that film like Lesbian Vampires. It's like, I think it was a British film, like a sort of B-movie film, Vampire Lesbians or something like that, you know, and it turns out that all lesbians are vampires. According to the film, anyway. Oh, what else do you want to talk about? Cuckold. Yeah, well, I covered it, didn't I? I've covered it. I've done both, really, kind of. So have you got anything to talk about that's not depressing, HRC? What about your childhood? I bet that was depressing, wasn't it? I know you mentioned about circumcision and stuff. What about good memories? I asked about good memories. We want to focus on good stuff. We only talk about the bad stuff so that we can get a grounding, and we know where the bad stuff is. We can put it in its place so we can avoid it. Then we want to focus on the good stuff. If you've not got any good memories, Is it all drugs and alcohol and like cheap women? Is that all you've got? Oh. Yeah. I mean, my first girlfriend, the sex was seemed good at the time, but as I got older, it's like, and because it wasn't ideal either. It was like a lot of the time she didn't really do one of the things that I wanted her to do, you know. I've given up on sex, really. You know, I mean, not completely, but it's like I'm having a break from it. It's one of the reasons I was drinking loads of alcohol, sort of get rid of my libido, so it wouldn't bother me. So giving up alcohol, I'm actually going to end up with a huge libido probably over the next few months. I don't know what to do with it, really. Hopefully, through all the experience I've got of like channeling it into other things, I'll be able to do like, I don't know, become a sculptor or a superhero or get really fit and healthy and what else? I don't know. Dominate the world. World domination. I like the idea of that. At least for a while, you know, 60 or 80 years or something, you know. The air was blowing on your balls. That sounds cool. Was it cold air or hot air? Cold air, I think you would want, not hot. Oh, you know, I've gone past that. Alcohol has the opposite effect on, I don't know. Alcohol it depends what's in the alcohol. Alcohol is like a medium for other things. Yep. America should invade the UK. What, you mean, hasn't it already done that? I thought we did that in 1947. Aren't we controlled by America here? I thought they're just two, you know, it's like, I thought it's the same country. I thought that the UK was, you know, like Northern Ireland is to the UK. I thought UK is the same to America. You know, we're just like another state of America, really. We're like Hawaii over here. It's just Hawaii, but colder. You know, when I was a kid, a child, when I first went to school, I'm sure, right, we had an FBI guy. He come in. I was like barely 5 years old. He come in. There's a class of about 25 kids, 30 kids maybe, all sitting there in these little desks and little tiny chairs. And he comes in. He's wearing a suit. He's got glasses. You know, short hair. You know, he looks like a Gestapo in a suit, right? And he says he puts up this thing, right? He's got one of those reel to reel. This is like in the early 70s, like 70, 76, something like that, 75. He's got this reel to reel tape recorder, right? In his briefcase. He's got a briefcase. He puts his briefcase on the desk at the front of the teacher's desk. He opens it up, right? He lifts this flap up, and there's a wheel on it, like a big round wheel, the size of like a 12-inch record, and it's got a black and white spiral pattern going around it, sort of like about 10 or 15 spirals going round to the center, and it starts spinning round. And he says to everyone, stare into the spiral, stare into the center of the spiral, everybody. And I thought to myself, this is dodgy. This is fucking, what the fuck's going on here, right? I'm thinking. And he said he's looking at everyone to make sure that they're staring right into the center. And I thought to myself, I'm going to stare about 2 or 3 inches to the right of this circle. And so I'm looking 2 or 3 inches to the right, and I'm about 2 or 3 meters away, 3 meters from this spinning disc. So I'm thinking, if I'm staring about 3 inches away, he can't really tell. But I could tell out the corner of my eye that he kept looking at me. He wasn't quite sure that I was looking right in the center. And he kept looking back at me. He's looking at everyone else a little bit, but he spent most of his time focusing on me out of all the other kids in the room. And I was probably the only person, like, not staring right in the center of the disc. Because, after that, right, the next thing that happened, yeah, of course he was trying to hypnotize me. As far as I'm concerned, hypnotism under these sort of circumstances is indistinguishable from black magic. They're basically trying to use black magic on us, right, as kids. Now, what happened, it was for 10 minutes, this tape played. And it was this person talking all this complex, like, jargon, and it was in English, but it was loads and loads of technical jargon, and all babbling on about psychological stuff, and too complicated for any child to remember clearly. I can't remember clearly at all what was going on. It was all jargon. It was all like words I didn't understand and didn't know the meanings of. It was black magic. And right at the end, right at the end of the 10 minutes, the voice said, "And you will not." This is the last thing because I remember the last few words. The voice said, "You will not remember any of this. You will not tell anybody anything that you've heard in this on this tape, especially not your parents." Right? What the fuck? I mean, this was in the 70s, in the mid 70s, and this is what they used to do to children in the 70s in the UK. They used to give them these FBI guys used to come in, and I think he might have even had a slight American accent, and they used to sort of like try and brainwash you with this black magic and this hypnotism stuff. And they don't need to do that nowadays because they've got computers and mobile phones. That's what they do nowadays. But when I was a kid, they used to have to come into your school and hypnotize you with a spinning disc and a sort of like hypnotic like voice trying to hypnotize you and feed all this sort of like technical jargon into your subconscious and make you one of them. That's what it's all about. I'm only like I am because I didn't look right in the center of the disc. I've tried telling my parents about 20 years later, 20 years too late. But at the time, I didn't say a word, like no one else did. No one else said a word, I'm sure. And I could tell we'd all been, now when I look back on it, we'd all been brainwashed. That was brainwashing, hypnotic magic to keep us dumbed down and keep us doing what we're told, and to not question anything. And I'd really like to know, I'd like to get a transcript of what all the stuff that they hypnotized us and that what that voice was actually saying, so I could look at it now with like an adult's head and see what they was actually telling us. because I can't remember any of it. It was like about 10 minutes long. And it's scary fucking shit. And these people, they are literally like black magicians, and they are totally evil as far as I'm concerned, and absolutely cannot be trusted. And they are the ones controlling us, and they are completely corrupt. That's my gut instinct. It's my intuition says they're completely corrupt. They totally can't be trusted. And, you know, actually, another way of looking at it is that they're like animals, and they're gods. They're gods like demons and angels, all rolled into one. And this is like a sort of like a labyrinth, and like a computer game, like a virtual reality role play game. You know, and you just have to do what you can. It's not that serious. I don't see any reason to take it all that seriously. Just do, you know, have fun and do your best. You know. As usual, HRC, some of your comments come up as thingy for review. You know what, right? Now my computer's frozen up now. This never has happened before. It's just you, HRC. You've frozen my computer. I can't even turn it off now, except from turning it off manually. So I can't stop the video. So I just have to carry on. When I stop it, I can't stop it properly. I just have to switch the computer off. I'm stuck on live. Well, I'm glad you can have a laugh about it. That's what I do usually. It's like I got to this age where I can't be bothered to get stressed out about things most of the time now. I mean, I still catch myself now and again. Like a few days ago, I got stressed out when I was cooking. And that was the first time for probably a few months, you know, quite a few months actually, probably maybe 5 or 6 months that I've actually got really stressed out. I mean, when I was a lot younger, I used to kick things when I was stressed out and punch things. I've probably got fractured knuckles and that. When I was younger, when I was like in my early 20s, I'd punch walls when I get stressed out, you know, and do stupid things like that. And my body's learned to sort of stay more relaxed now because it's not worth it. You know, I've kicked things when I was a teenager and like damaged my ankle and damaged my foot bones and stuff. You know, because I've kicked things that are just like solid iron and that. And it just, all it does is shatter your foot. It's not very pleasant, and it hurts for months, you know. So it's good to just stay relaxed and not take these things seriously, you know. Yeah, I bet he is. But why take it seriously, though? Anyway, this food is really good. You know, I told you the recipe earlier on. It was quite nice warm, but it's nicer cold. It's really nice cold. It's like potato salad, but with extra, with bacon and a few spices, and it just really nice. It just sort of like really goes down well. Oh, the other thing, I don't know if you only, I don't know when you come on HRC, but I'm smoking that Datura and Belladonna mixture with a sativa strain cannabis, and it seems really cool. Yeah. Well, fair play. It's like it's one of those things about getting old, isn't it? It's like you get past 40, 45, and you start slowing down. You really notice your wisdom. Your experience catches up on you, and you stop doing so many stupid things. You know, you still do stupid things, but not so many. Like you learn like not to do the really stupid things. So I take it you've stopped hitting things now. Then, what should you try? So I didn't get that. I see you're the only person watching HRC. What shouldn't you try? What should you try? I mean, I could watch the whole video back again, but it's going to take me an hour, like just so. Right, yeah. I mean, I've talked about it a few times. Datura and belladonna, Datura stramonium and belladonna, very, very tiny little. You use it like salt and pepper. You get a sativa strain of cannabis. So that's the bulk of it. If you think of it that like the meat, the sativa strain of cannabis is like the meat, and the datura and belladonna is like salt and pepper. So you only use a very tiny little bit. You're microdosing. You just use enough so that your body can just about recognize them. And what I think happens is that the belladonna, the deadly nightshade, is poison. So it's deadly poison. So when your body experiences a little tiny bit, it sort of puts you puts you on red alert. And the datura, which is like a deliriant, that also puts you on red alert, but just temporarily. And so what happens is your body overcompensates because it's just a microdose. Your body overcompensates, so you become more focused on the moment, more alive. You feel more alive, and you feel more aware of like what's going on around you and more focused. So it's like the opposite of a delirium and the opposite of a poison. So, and the sativa strain is more mental. So your brain, it's like a nootropic. It's a really powerful natural nootropic combination, which involves a certain amount of synergy. So I'm experimenting with it at the moment. I feel it's really worth a really good experiment for if people have, are interested in that sort of thing and they feel like experimenting. I really recommend it. I could practically not recommend it highly enough. But obviously be careful. These are don't do it in any other way. I wouldn't recommend using these herbs in any other way. And if you did get them, make sure that you're not someone who's going to leave them around. Make sure that they're very well. Keep them. If you buy the herbs or if you grow them, you don't want children to get hold of them and mess around with them. So you have to sort of be responsible because they're dangerous herbs. If like, for example, if somebody used the herbs and put a load of it in a soup and ate the soup, that could kill them. If you use it like a little tiny sprinkling, that's fine. It wouldn't do any harm. But if somebody used a lot of it, like in a tea, like a few tablespoons in a tea, and drunk the tea, that could kill someone. Literally kill someone. So you've got to be careful. They're not completely safe, but if they're used properly, they can be very powerful and very useful. So that's why. When I just got this belladonna, it's got like the warning written on it. It's like this is not a safe herb. You've got to be careful with it. You've got to be responsible. And I literally use like the size of a match head. When I put it in a smoke, I use the size of a match head, and I'd only use it 2 or 3 times a day at the most. And then it's completely safe. If you do it like that, it's completely safe. And I wouldn't know. I actually don't know how much you have to use for it to be very dangerous. But as far as I'm concerned, that's as much as you should use. That's as much as I would use. I haven't looked into the health, why other people might use it. Maybe if you've got some serious illness and you use it as a tea, like in small amounts, it might kill pain. But don't take my word for it. I don't know anything about it really. You know, I really don't know. I only use extremely small amounts in like a smoke, and very occasionally as well. So very small amounts, extremely small amounts, literally like a 1 or 2 milligrams, extremely small amounts. But that's how it's like homeopathy. It's like very close to homeopathy. You're using extremely small amounts to produce quite powerful effects in your body. You know, the pendulum of your body goes one way, and then your body overcompensates. So where it's trying to kill you a little bit, your body goes the other way and makes you feel more alive. But you know, you got to get the dosage right, and even then, once you've got the dosage right, don't use it very often. Only use it occasionally, very occasionally. So there's no chance of ever overdosing or getting any serious problems from it. If you use it very wisely, then it's a really great herb. The same with Datura. Well, you could. I'm sure you could get you'll be all right to use it. HRC. I mean, that's one of the reasons I like to keep my channel small, so I don't get too much problems with like loads of people saying, "Oh, he's talking about dangerous stuff." And if I've only got a few watchers, it's like I can relax and say what I want. If my channel ever gets really big and I've got hundreds of thousands of subscribers, I'll probably put these sort of videos on private, you know, just to stay out of trouble, you know. All the time I've only got a few viewers. I don't mind telling you guys this sort of stuff. Oh, I just finished all this stuff. It's really good. Oh, in the sauce, add chicken stock. I forgot to mention. I gave a list of the ingredients in that food. I mean, even with the potato and leek and the bacon, there was chicken stock as well, all cooked down. It's just gone down. It's really good. It's so, you know, you can just. I've been really paying attention to my diet lately, eating really good quality food and now good quality wine. Oh, hi, Shiny Beast. Now this is really interesting. Now with the belladonna, I've got some here. I'll light some up. Now, I got the Datura a few months ago. I've done a couple of videos mentioning that. It's a good point. Thanks for mentioning that, Shiny Beast, because it's like it's something I did want to talk about. Right, there's two things that are to me are really interesting. I think that I want to mention. One is, well, the first thing that happened that I noticed is like when I've got that voice in my head. It's like my own voice. So it's like self-talk, but it goes on a bit too much. You know, you're trying to sort of like have a conversation with yourself, trying to play two sides of something to sort of get to the end of it, you know, sort of get to the bottom of a problem, like an issue you've got. So you're trying to sort of play the angel and the devil, you know, and like balance things up, you know. But sometimes for me anyway, it goes on. I'm a bit Vata. Like if you look at it from Ayurvedic, the 3 different types. I'm more Vata, like air, mental. So I do a lot of thinking and stuff. So, and sometimes it can just get really like draining, where your mind is just going on and on, having all these discussions with itself, and trying to think things through and remembering stuff and going on and on. And yeah, so some of the things are, one of the things actually, just on a side note, I got this tincture, skullcap tincture from Indigo Herbs, and it's a really great medicine for helping your mind shut down. When your thoughts are too sort of like intense, and they go on, and you keep thinking about stuff, and you just want your brain to shut down. So skullcap tincture is really helpful like that. Sometimes it can be really, really a real blessing, to just, it literally feels like you've got a skull cap on, and you shut out the world, and all the problems of the world, and you can just sort of relax. It's really useful. But I also found that when I started using Datura would do a very similar thing. It would stop out that inner voice that would just sort of like, like you'll be sort of like, I think of it like my super ego, the judge part of your ego that's trying to tell you what all the laws of society are, and what you need to do, and how you need to behave, and it just goes on and on. And it stops you relaxing, and you can't really get much out of life, because it's trying to organize your life like a sort of like a parent that never stops looking over your shoulder. It's always on your case, trying to sort of organize your life for you, and you won't let you relax. That's what it feels like sometimes. Like it's almost demonic in its sort of persistence and sort of it's just sort of self-importance and that, and you just want to get rid of it. So I found that Datura helped get rid of that a bit, shut it down, so you could have your own thoughts more in a more relaxed, natural way. Now, this when you combine the belladonna and the Datura together with some sativa strain cannabis, which I've also mentioned you can get on eBay at the moment, the last few days anyway, and the last few weeks, £6 for 25 grams. It's got to be worth a try. From the UK, grown in the UK. You can buy it in the UK. Okay, the question again was, how do these herbs affect your emotional state for anxiety and social inhibition? Right. So with the belladonna, when I've added the belladonna here, what I've noticed is that initially I've noticed, like, because when I first smoked cannabis, I noticed occasionally I'd feel paranoid, and so did my friends. We'd feel a bit paranoid. Sometimes if you feel like you smoked some too much, or certain types of cannabis, they would make you feel paranoid. It's a very common symptom of cannabis use, paranoia. But when I smoked this with belladonna, I've noticed the paranoia is instantly, I noticed it a lot stronger. Where I've been smoking cannabis for such a long time, don't really get paranoid anymore. I don't notice it. But when you add the belladonna, definitely notice the paranoia. You can feel a sort of sense of paranoia. Now, I think that's a good thing. When I was a kid, my dad said to me he used to smoke cannabis because it made him paranoid, and he liked the feeling of being paranoid. Just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not out to get you. So it's sort of basically putting you on the right track, because the government really is out to get you. They are really predators, and the medical establishment, they really are out to get you. So when you smoke something like this, it's like you are on the right track. It helps you get on the right track. You don't take their shit anymore. You ain't going to put up with it. You know that they're out there to get you. it's not it's not like paranoid schizophrenia. I also strongly recommend, if you're going to smoke something like this, you've got to eat properly. You've got to get proper nutrition, because otherwise it could be dangerous. It could, it's very, very important to get all your B vitamins, all your vitamins and minerals. Have a really, really good diet. This is why it's taken me like 5 years of doing the work to the point where I'm starting to think about things like this. So just in the last week, I've had beef liver, I've had raw organic goat's milk kefir, like green powders like spirulina, chlorella, wheatgrass juice powder, barley grass juice powder, and moringa, pine pollen, loads of bee pollen, as well as lots of supplements, B vitamin supplements and stuff. So that I know I'm thinking clearly, and lots of herbs that help with my mind stay stable and stuff. I mean, I don't know how these would affect people that are not eating properly, but if I mean, I wouldn't take the risk. Now I understand about these things. I wouldn't take the risk. If you're going to use these sort of herbs, make sure you're eating properly. You've got good, really proper, redundant nutrition. You want to get all your nutrition sorted out redundantly. I'm eating things like sauerkraut as well, so my gut is in really good condition. Well, it's getting everything it needs anyway. I'm eating apples, hardly any sugar. This wine's definitely got better. From that first sip, it's like I've still got half a bottle left here. I was hoping to save half a bottle for some of it tomorrow, but I think I'm just going to drink it all today probably, and stay on here and just keep jabbering away. I got things to do. Oh, that's what. Just coming up probably soon. Someone. Well, you don't have to remind me. It will probably happen soon. That I'll be doing a video about high intensity interval training and cold therapy, because it's like still January here. The water is really cold in the taps. It's like 5 degrees. It's really, really cold. So I'm probably going to do a video where I'm going to do running up and down the stairs 6 times, like twice, running up and down the stairs, and then straight after that, go and get in a really cold bath, and it's part of the giving up alcohol. And also this is as well, it's keeping me together while I'm not drinking. I drink sometimes to keep my head together. I don't know what kills the ego. Yeah, it's a super ego, shiny beast. What do you understand? Oh, okay. There's nothing about doing the work, dealing with all this kind of stuff, like dealing with your worst self. I mean, in some ways, I might have some advantages, like having Mercury in I tell you, that first day of not drinking is pretty bad, and the second day is pretty bad as well, and the third day. The fourth day is also a bit tough, and then it's like I think the fifth day is okay, and the sixth day that's okay as well, and the seventh day and eighth day is all right, and then it potentially gets easier from there. The thing you have to watch out for is boredom, I suppose. So I've got a lot of work cut out for me. This is the thing about doing the progress now. It's like it's doing the real work. It's not just talking about it and knowing about it. I actually have to do it. It's like that bit in the Matrix. The path is like you can know the path. It's different from walking the path, you know. That's what I've got to start doing now is walking the path, you know. That's why, but one of the reasons I'm having this bottle of wine is like it's really nice wine. There's no going back now. This is like the cut-off point. It just tastes like really nice velvety. How fruit, you know, like good fruit would taste this time. Well, it seems like this is the right time of year to be drinking it, and it's like the right kind of wine. I'm gonna, what's going to happen in the next few days? I'm going to have to go through all this pain, and I'm going to have to go through. It's like going through barriers of pain and suffering in order to make changes in my life, change the way that I think about things, change the way that I think about alcohol and smoking. I'm going to have to basically do things like cold showers and cold baths and high intensity interval training, fasting, to sort of like replace the chemicals, make more natural chemicals in my brain instead of using like outside things like alcohol and cannabis and tobacco to do those jobs for me. I've learned what I need to do. I've learned what exercises I need to do. I need to do the cold therapy. I need to do the high intensity interval training, maybe some lifts and weights as well. I've got to do it till it hurts. And, you know, if you're lucky, I'll document it as well. I'm gonna switch it off now because I've got no control over this. It's like it's getting a bit tedious now. The fact that I can't control anything. I've got to switch it off from the computer. So anyway, thanks HRC, thanks Shiny Beast, thanks other watchers and that. It's been good to see you all. Watch this space. I'll be back and I'm going to be looking better. I'm going to be doing better and more stuff. And if I don't, well, I'll eat my hat. This one, the one I've got on now. Bye.